In this quick tip weight loss mindset episode, you'll learn 4 ways to fortify your frequency so you stop wasting emotional energy and have more energy to follow through on what's important to you. Have you ever felt like your day was going great and then bam, all of a sudden you get an email or a phone call or someone said something that hurt your feelings and you feel like you're on a downward spiral emotionally? Or what about if you've been doing great with your nutrition or exercise, but then slipped a day? I've heard people say that one slip led to another, and then 6 weeks later, they still weren't quote unquote back on track. This is due to the law of attraction. This is summed up as like attracts like. Before we get to the actual tips, I wanted to explain the law of attraction and law of vibration so you can appreciate what I mean when I say fortify your frequency. We cover weight loss mindset in depth inside our Zivli program, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. At the end of this episode, I'll tell you how to download a free mindset training if you want to learn more. The law of attraction follows the rule that your thoughts determine your emotions determine your actions, and your actions determine your results. It is a scientific fact that everything is matter and energy. Emotions are simply thought energy in motion. Think about the word emotion. Emotion, energy in motion. The law of vibration states everything, every atom, object, and living thing is in constant motion and vibrating at a specific frequency. Even if an object looks still, if you look at its atoms, they are always moving. Your thoughts create energy that vibrates at a certain frequency. Your emotions are an indicator of your thought energy frequency. Frequency is the number of waves that pass a fixed point in a given amount of time. A higher frequency wave has more energy than a lower frequency wave. Emotions themselves don't have a frequency. They are just an indicator or a sense of your internal frequency of vibration caused by your thoughts. This is where the title for this episode comes from. To fortify your frequency means to maintain a high vibrational thought state even when you're confronted with negativity. Another way to say this is to be the thermostat in the room, not the thermometer. If you're not very careful with your thoughts, it's easy to get pulled into other people's problems or negativity. The law of attraction is why paying attention to negative emotions is so critical for your success. Your negative emotions indicate that you are actively attracting more negative emotions, actions, and results into your future experience. Do not give your personal power or energy away to thoughts of lack, insufficiency, negativity, or criticism. According to the law of attraction, that is exactly what you'll be attracting back to you. Thoughts with a high vibrational frequency include love, appreciation, joy, peace, freedom, and abundance. That's why we feel very energized when we feel these emotions. Thoughts that have a low vibrational frequency produce emotions such as fear, shame, guilt, despair, and powerlessness. That's why we feel very low energy when we are filled with these negative emotions. They can be draining and make it very difficult to follow through on good intentions. Waves of similar frequency of vibration are attracted to each other. Negative thoughts with a low frequency of vibration attract more negative thoughts with similar low frequencies. Positive thoughts attract more positive thoughts based on their higher frequency of vibration. Whatever you are putting out there as a vibrational energy or emotion, you are attracting more of that back to you. If you are having negative thoughts of worry, doubt, confusion, overwhelm, indecision, fear, and guilt, you are attracting more negative thoughts with a similar vibrational frequency. If you're having positive thoughts of appreciation, love, joy, peace, and belief, you are attracting more positive thoughts with a similar vibrational frequency. With this understanding in mind, let's cover 3 tips to fortify your frequency so you're not emotionally hijacked throughout the day. The first is to have a daily mindset routine. We suggest you use the START framework. S stands for Say Your Personal Faith Formula. This is your master mindset document that we teach you how to write inside of our Zivli program. You could start with simple affirmations and saying your goals. Some common ones that I suggest a lot are: I prioritize my emotional and physical health every day. I fortify my frequency. I choose to think and do things that make me feel good. T stands for thankful. I like 3 things I'm grateful for within the last 24 hours, but you can practice this however you like. I was recently watching a documentary on Netflix about Jonah Hill and his therapist. I liked the visual that his therapist gave about how sometimes there seems to be a black cloud overhead. Things feel heavy. There isn't joy in life. You may experience anxiety or depression. And even though the sun is always above the clouds, it can be hard to remember that. This therapist said the way to break through those clouds and to see the sun again is with gratitude. And not just broad stroke gratitude you think in your head, but with specific gratitude that you feel in your heart. So, this feeling of gratitude is very important as you practice gratitude. I can absolutely attest to that in my own life as well. When I'm in a state of gratitude for the littlest things, I am happier and more present. A stands for action items for the upcoming day. We recommend no more than 1 to 3 health-related action items each day to narrow your focus. R stands for recognize wins from the last 24 hours. This is essentially positive reinforcement for yourself. And then T stands for thoughts and obstacles that could arise today that would prevent you from following through on your action items. Having this daily mindset routine is like a checkpoint that interrupts any negative thoughts from the previous day and starts you off on a good note for the day ahead. It keeps your goals and gratitude top of mind. The second tip is to listen to something inspiring. Often, if you're in a negative thought spiral, it's because you're in your own head. One way to get out of that frequency is to listen to someone who is at a higher frequency than your internal dialogue. I hope this podcast or YouTube channel is one of your go-tos, and we'll be doing more of these quick tip mindset episodes this year. So when you're feeling you need an emotional pick-me-up, listen to an episode. You can also listen to or read an inspirational book. For mindset, I really like the books Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I Am Enough by Marissa Peer. This is all about connecting with someone at a higher vibrational frequency. Remember, like attracts like. Their high vibes will eventually raise yours. Often, if you're working to change your lifestyle, the people you're currently surrounded by may not be the best influences. If you change, that may threaten them or their routines in some way, shape, or form. They may want to preserve the status quo. They think things can't change, or they don't want things to change, but you do. You are growing and evolving as a person, and they aren't quite there yet. To continue growing, you'll need to find a new tribe with a higher vibrational frequency. This new tribe can be people you haven't even met yet, and heck, they could be dead. Napoleon Hill wrote his book after the Great Depression, and it still inspires millions today, even after he died in 1970. The third tip is to modify your environment to reduce negative stimuli. If you have a habit of having the news on in the background at home or in your car, you are inadvertently lowering your frequency. The news is not about informing as much as it is startling. Startling you with good hooks and headlines is how they get you to watch, which generates ad money for them. It's a business that doesn't always have your emotional health in mind. Try going a whole week with listening to only positive influences on the radio, your phone, or the TV, and see how different you feel. Now, that's not to say you put your head in a hole and have no idea what's going on in the world, but choose your source and limit your time. The same goes for social media. Most of it is a waste of time and a comparison trap. If you find yourself feeling worse after using social media, that's a sign to be more selective about how much time you're on there and who your friends are or who you follow so that you can tailor the content that you see. For some, weighing yourself or seeing yourself in the mirror may be a negative stimuli and start negative thought spirals. So stop weighing yourself until you can develop a more neutral relationship with the scale. If you can reduce the mirror stimuli, do. If you can't, Pick something that you do like about yourself, such as your eyes, your smile, or hair. And every time that negative thought loop, like I'm so fat or I'm so ugly, starts, use that as a cue to remember what you do appreciate about your body. The lunchroom can also be a negative stimuli. If you notice you have less energy after you're around coworkers that spend 30 minutes complaining about their job, their partner, their weight, or their health, stop sitting with them. Eat somewhere else. Eat in your car or office space, but stop being around people that don't lift you up if you don't have to be around them. Anytime you feel drained after being around someone, it's a sign that you should try to be around them less. If you're directly responsible for them, such as you're a primary caregiver or a parent, use the other strategies mentioned and ask for some help to support yourself emotionally. The fourth tip is to change your physical state. For me, this looks different depending on what I feel like I need at that time. Often, if I'm finding myself tense or stressed, or feeling like I'm pushing too hard, I stop and take a stretch break. I do this several times a day just for a few seconds or a minute. It breaks up the mental tension and helps me refocus, take a few deep breaths, and raise my vibration again. I like doing short walks when it's nice outside for the same reason. I have never felt worse after a stretch, walk, or workout. And often I'll combine this strategy with the one about listening to someone at a higher vibrational state than myself for a compounding effect. If I'm at home and I'm feeling anxious or like I'm not being present, I'll take a hot bath or shower to relax. I like being very present in the shower and practice gratitude for the time alone, the warm water, the soap, everything. By doing this, I'm changing my internal state so that when I step back into my household environment, I am in a better mental state to get things done without losing my patience. So, just to recap those 4 tips to fortify your own frequency, so you can show up in your life how you want and not let external factors influence your attitude. They were to develop a daily mindset routine that includes gratitude. Listen to something inspiring, remove negative influences from your environment, and change your physical state to change your mental state. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you are watching on YouTube, let us know which tip was your favorite in the comments, and if you have other ideas to raise your frequency. If you resonated with the topic today, you'll like our free mindset audio training that you can download at zivli.com/free audio. That's zivli.com/free audio.